sound of the victim's footsteps. The victims. The sound of bells changes to the sound of water at one point, to say that he's in the fountain. What's this? It's simple. The victim must have stepped into some water. Oh? Yes. And the only source of water is in the inner sanctum. Is the spring. Our source of water in the inner sanctum is the spring. And therein lies the contradiction. What contradiction? He shouldn't be in the fountain. I believe the right started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring, and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know that the victim then moved into the spring. Paul Gunker, that is absurd. This means the accused's location differs from what her benevolence's insight indicates. God. Then, where do you propose the accused stood once she donned Lady Kira's robes? Based on the sound of the victim's footsteps, I believe Maya was standing here. In the spring. Because it was only after a couple steps that it changed from bells to water. Until this moment, we've all just assumed that Abbott and me and Miss Fay were standing where they were supposed to be, as shown in this Wright's guide. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring and the accused in front. However, if that is how they were really standing, he couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. The problem is, the victim did step into the spring. This can only mean that Miss Fay had actually been standing in the water. But if this is true, then their positions would have been completely reversed. Inner sanctum... diagram... okay. It's just the details are getting updated, I think. I'll check. What is going on here, Miss Fay? Why is he asking her? I highly doubt she'll have an idea. Goddamn. I have 4 pages of shit. Jesus. Oh. Oh, so it's not even updating the information, it's just kind of changing the picture. Alright. Were you really standing in the spring? I'm sorry, but I don't remember. I barely remember anything about the rite. The High Priest would never make such an obvious blunder during a rite. What on earth? Is that even possible? Ooh. Be that as it may, this does not overturn my insights. It doesn't? Let's say the accused was standing in the spring. So what? So what? This completely reverses their positions is what? That their positions differed from what is customary is rather curious. However, what does that change? It certainly does not erase the accused's brutal crime. Oh yeah. I guess you have a point there. You lawyers are an absurd breed. Never thinking ahead, you cling to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster. Oof. Sounds like Princess Rafa has a pretty good grasp on what lawyers are all about. Oh Maya, where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Wait. Oh. Wait, what? We're going to black already? Is this contradiction really meaningless? But something really doesn't feel right. Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth. Hot damn. That's another insight revised. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the poolside lantern. And then it just goes over the same. Now the contradiction is no more. But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it. What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright? Nick. Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence's insights have no further inadequacies of any kind. Yes, so it would seem. Oh, we'll find out. Wait a second, but there is another contradiction. God, I really don't like how silent it is. Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you rack that putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it. Maya, please tell me you remember something that might help us out here. Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. But now that the place I was standing in has changed, who knows? That alone may cause a new discrepancy with Princess Rafa's insights. The wind? Oh, it would have been, because it was on his right-hand side. That's right, we know that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a contradiction. I should take another look at the inner sanctum diagram in the court record, and confirm where Maya and Abbot Inmee were standing, and then focus on finding any discrepancies between their positions and the insights. Yeah, it's definitely the position, I would say. So it'll probably be the same statement. Rush the accused, Springside Lantern. Just skip. What if I skipped ahead to this? Bells, water. Pain. Oh. Where did wind pop up? The lower right. I'm just trying to think. I'm pretty sure where it displays is kind of like which ear it's coming from. So wind on his right-hand side, which would make no sense, because the wind would only whistle through the broken lantern, which is on his left. It would have been on his right-hand side, to begin with. Yeah. That's all I could think. Let's see, does it change? Just go wind. Wait, what was that? Oh god, I have to watch this again. Incense. Okay, it's just them flickering. Water. Pain. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the wind. It's all I can think. I mean, I don't know if it would actually count, because it's the fact he's hearing it. And I don't know if that actually has any bearing on it, on like which side it comes from. I don't think so, but I really don't know. What about, I've not actually seen all of these. No sense? No, the wind, yeah, the wind pops up there. When he's looking that way, toward the... I'll just go with the sound. Objection! Okay, that's not it. The music didn't cut out. Isn't this statement inconsistent with the vision? I don't see how. I think not. Exactly. No, I believe it is in the defense's thought process that the inconsistency lies. Yeah, as I say, I think the wind is just... it means he's hearing it. I just have to keep watching it, I guess. It just goes water and then pain. Shoot! Yeah. I just keep thinking it's the water. The wind. Oh! Oh, that's dirty. I mean, it does show wind. Oh, that's how it's inconsistent. That shouldn't be blowing, I think. Okay. I think? Oh god, I really don't know. Because it's not broken. The only one where the flame would be blowing would be the broken one. Okay, I got it. Phew! You always know, because the music cuts out. Your benevolence, I found a new contradiction. You did? No doubt it is but another of your vile attempts to slander my insights. Nope. Take a good look at what the victim saw. It just might change your mind. That was a clever one, because you have to pay attention to it. Especially given the fact you're looking for sensations, but it's actually a visual cue that you have to find. I like that one. It actually took me a bit to find it too. Normally I can get through these without making many mistakes. But yeah, I was on the right track, I just didn't notice the cue. The lantern flame behind the accused was flickering. There is nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind had stirred. But there is something unusual. That lantern was not broken. No, that's where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, then that lantern is the one to the right. Then what you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue. But neither of those are broken. I fail to see your point. My point is, something is wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue were both outfitted with glass wind guards. So neither lantern's flame should have been flickering in the wind in the first place. Now she'll notice. Like, uh-oh. Huh. She seems pretty tickled, Nick. I don't remember anything, or saying anything funny. I fail to see what you wish to prove here, but... Very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see. Alright. God, O blessed Matama, I beseech you, fix your sight upon the lantern there. So it's going to become clearer? Ah! Uh-huh. That lantern doesn't have a wind guard on it. And rightly so. For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within for the rite of fire. Therefore, there is nothing odd about the flame flickering. Say what? But when we searched the crime scene, those lanterns had their wind guards on. That's because the police put them back on. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, defense. We could not risk them being extinguished even during an investigation. That would never fly back home. Well, Bobhead, are you done quibbling? If so, then it is time to bow down before this testimony of the Matama. Well, I'm not giving up just yet. Nick, don't worry, Maya. I'm just getting started. Alright, let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Kira's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priest is thought to have been moving toward her. So I should look for sensations that stand in contradiction to this arrangement. I won't give up. I'm going to find a contradiction that will undermine the accusation against Maya. Right. Victim, okay. Wait, it's broken. That's the broken one. I think? I really hope this works. Kabloosh! Not enough! Jesus. Objection! Music cut out. Got it. Woohoo! That's just the best thing to look for. It's like, oh yeah, I got it, because the music cut out. But then if the music doesn't, you're like, ah, fuck. Well, punish me. What could this possibly mean? Yeah, because it's the broken one. That lantern clearly contradicts the insight. But this contradiction will overturn the entire case I've been building. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? 1 minute you shout out, and then in the next you fall silent. Perhaps it is like the bellow of one who is barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor said Marty. Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you've built so far, the only way is to keep moving forward. Because that's where you'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything with the indisputable contradiction I found. Is that so? The lantern behind the accused clearly... no, blatantly contradicts your insight. Does it now? One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what Abbott in me saw in his final moments, he saw it before he read the scroll. Did he get turned around? You will notice that the lantern behind... oh, behind the praying form of Miss Fey is broken. The lantern behind Lady Kira, however, is still intact. He got turned around, I would guess. In short, we are seeing two different lanterns in this seance vision. How could this be? And even if it were so, how would that contradict my insights? We're thinking. Let me start by saying, the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've built thus far. Will the defense please explain himself? We'll get into it. Based on the broken lantern, we can tell... oh, there we go. Well, no, we can tell the positions of the lanterns. We know that the one he sees to begin with is the one in the bottom left, and then the one that he sees otherwise is the one to the top right. So yeah, it's not Maya and Abbott in me's positions, it's the lantern's positions. The correct positions of the lanterns. Did you not just explain that yourself? Oh. It is Maya and Abbott and me's. No! Oh wait, yeah. Whoops. I keep thinking that it was both Maya that was praying and also in the robes. But that would just be saying that she did it. No, what we know is that Maya was near the broken one, and Lady Kira was near the intact one. Oh, there we go. And that is where the accused and the victim were standing. I should probably read this, because I get kind of fucked up. The fact that there was a broken lantern does not change anything. I beg to differ, your majesty. There is one thing it makes clear. Okay, and then it just chooses the other option. Where the accused and the victim were standing. But did you not just... oh yeah, did you not just finish asserting that the accused was standing somewhere else? I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. Well, technically all we know is where Lady Kira was standing. But thankfully it has led us here. To the actual spot where Maya Fey was standing. So basically, during the rite there were two different people. There was Maya, and then whoever was in Lady Kira's robes. I must say, if the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner, its credibility may come into question. I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing. Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing. Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing? I would probably say like here. Close to the entrance. I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. That means Maya Fey had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which has only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, She was standing where she was supposed to be, according to custom. Does that not bring us back to the very beginning? No. This is where things take a different turn, and I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving toward the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned toward the accused. What's this? Do you mean to say the victim turned around during the rite? But such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision. He had the scroll. Actually, it does appear. It's just that no one noticed until now. No one noticed? How could no one have noticed something so big? It's when he's reading the scroll. There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was in fact turning around in that moment. Uh-oh. If it is as the defense asserts, then her benevolence's insights no longer make sense. How do you intend to explain that? I don't need to explain anything, because it's just as you said, Prosecutor said Marty. Her benevolence's insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error. Such insolence. We're like picking a fight. A huge error, you say? Do explain. The huge error is the number of people there. The number of people there. I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Kira standing there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed. This cannot be. Oh, but it can, and it is. The insight stating the accused stabbed the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind this testimony of the dead. Oh, is that Paul Kunker? Oh, even he's... Yeah! God, that's twice we debunked it. Little messy on my part, I will admit. I made a few mistakes, a few slight mess-ups. I just didn't know what I was doing. For some reason. No, normally I'm pretty good, but I was just dead set on the wind. What was the other one? Oh yeah, and the lantern positions. That one was just stupid. Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime? Have I misunderstood the voice of the Mitama yet again? This cannot be. God, that took her a long time to hit the floor. Phew, that was a close one. Glad I managed to divine the true meaning behind the seance visions somehow. I should add these new facts to the court record. Nice. I still only have 3 chances, though. Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brash accusations of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer. Yes, I shall place my trust in you. Wow, she looks so defeated. Shit. My bad. Are you sure about this, Prosecutor said Marty? Oh, now it's personal. My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time I have learned to perform less rites for souls in trials lacking a seance. Yes, of course. Forgive my ludicrous inquiry. Or inquiry. Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. Emma! I will show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen. I guess he really does think highly of Emma and her forensic expertise. I'm impressed that he's come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who's solved tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh? Now then, let's continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us who the third party dressed as Lady Kira was? Your new claim has negated the insights of the Royal Priestess. So I trust you have some evidence to support it, correct? Yes, of course. This third party must have really wanted to kill the High Priest. I might be able to identify who it was if I had evidence of their murderous intent. Oh, the warning. Well, we're waiting, Mr. Wright. The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is this. Oh wait, is that the warning? Oh, that's the bloodstained letter. That's the warning. Boom. There are holes in rows all over it, yeah. Oh, do not perform the rite, I know what you are planning. It doesn't really show the murderous intent though. But sure. That's all I got. 3 days before the purification rite, the victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual. He did? Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the High Priest was murdered. Who do you suppose sent that letter? A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself. Well, we just pulled that out of our ass. Sheesh. Peace. No, bye. I don't understand. I had heard the Lady Kira that has been in the news of late only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the High Priest? Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the High Priest had secretly been a rebel? Oh god, I probably shouldn't say this. The High Priest? He couldn't possibly have been a rebel. The High Priest, a devout follower of Corainism, a rebel? Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you? I too found it hard to believe at first. But as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible. The third party was the rebel-hunting Lady Kira, and the High Priest was a rebel. Your mockery of Corainism? No. Of the kingdom of Corain itself knows no bounds. Oops. That shameless Porkunkan lawyer, he's making a mockery of our religion. He isn't, he's just posing a theory. We don't actually know if it's the case. Calm your tits. As a faithful Corainist, I take issue with these claims. And I am loath to admit them into today's proceedings. I don't like where this is going. The defence's claims are but vile blasphemy tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother. Is it really that big of a deal, Maya? Abbot Inme was a distinguished monk, and very well respected too, so yeah. Ugh. Please don't let this turn into an international incident. But fear not, good people of Corain. The rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer who seeks to sully the soul of the deceased shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. Ooh. So much pressure, he stopped the music. The prosecution's assertion that the accused killed the victim remains unchanged. But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How was that possible when he had his back turned towards Miss Fair? Somebody else must have killed him. Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial is, as yet, still in my hands. How can he be so confident? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling a new witness to the stand. Okay. An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts. An eyewitness. Very well. Let us call this eyewitness to the stand. An eyewitness. Fun. Oh god. Who is this? Oh, it's that guy! It's him again. Well, no. He has to be the shaggiest witness I have ever laid eyes upon. Please state your name and occupation. Oh, I'm... you know, so-and-so, whatchamacallit. That fucking smirk. Wait. Oh my god, I've just realised what his name what it is. When you say it out loud, it's Anonymous. Anonymous TBD. At least that's what they've been calling me. TBD? As in, to be determined? Can't you just tell us your real name? The witness has suffered a blow to the head, rendering him amnesiac. Therefore, he is useless. I named him Anonymous TBD in my report, but he thinks TBD is part of his name.
Objection!
You're letting an amnesiac testify? Have no fear, I've already questioned him at length. While it is true he has totally forgotten his name and past, his memory of what he witnessed is still very much intact. Considering the dearth of information, any new knowledge may be of help. Therefore, I will permit his testimony. Now, Mr. Emus, please tell us what you saw. I swear, they've got the most creative names for this game. Fucking Anonymous, to rust in me, and then believe in me. There's too many. The night of the murder. That night I was up at the top of Mount Pony Pony, the mountain next to the inner sanctum. I hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace.